Along with so many others, I was devastated to learn of the passing on of clinical psychologist Dr. Joseph Nicolosi in 2017. And because we'd interviewed Nicolosi as part of our Voices of the Silence project, and he'd been at the International Federation for Therapeutic and Counseling Choice conference in Hungary, we knew that it was really important to make sure that we could share our material on his work more widely. It's a pleasure for me to present to you today a new DVD, A True Friend, Joseph Nicolosi. Dr. Nicolosi was the founder of reparative therapy, and this is a term that's misunderstood and maligned. It describes his work and theoretical understanding of unwanted same-sex attractions. This new documentary offers the perspectives of several professional clinical and pastoral care workers, psychiatrists, therapists and counselors, all of whom knew him or worked with him or in fact were trained by him. And of course we hear directly from Dr. Nicolosi himself. Sadly, when he died, the 5-year longitudinal research study that he was involved in with research colleague Dr. Carolyn Peller lost an important collaborator. The project is based on more than 100 subjects from Nicolosi's clinic in California. But crucially, the project has continued, and I'm happy to say will report back in 2018. If you're interested in the topic of homosexuality, the role it's playing in the resocialization process through politics, education, religion and sport, then you might well be interested in this film. Joseph Nicolosi is synonymous with the idea that homosexuality is changeable. Not only do sexual identities and behaviors shift spontaneously sometimes, he witnessed the fact that this happens in different ways through therapeutic intervention. It's an amazing thing, isn't it, that in an age when sexuality is described by increasing numbers of researchers as fluid, the one thing mental health professionals claim you shouldn't do is to support a client's desire to change, unless, of course, he wants to change genders and take on the identity opposite to his birth gender. The fact is, therapists' agendas have superseded clients' rights of self-determination and autonomy. So, in this DVD, we've offered 3 things. A very human look at Nicolosi in a 40-minute documentary telling the story of Joseph Nicolosi's work and his reach to his clients. It's also reflected on many professionals who identified with his work, and then we've also included a detailed interview that was done with him shortly before he passed on. Joseph Nicolosi was passionate about sharing what he was seeing in his counseling and therapy room. He saw people move out of the false self of homosexual identity and practice into the real self that identified the roots and causes of homosexual behaviors. Once clients become assertive in their goals and bearing, they discern the psychological state that leads them into homosexual enactment. And once they discern the different, and it's often likely that they begin to be empowered to live in a different way because they make different choices. And once the unwanted behaviors go, the feelings very often shift, but not in every case. It's important to say that because we can never guarantee any outcome. Shortly before his death, Dr. Nicolosi worked with his son Joseph Jr., also a clinical psychologist, to re-articulate the notion of reparative therapy. The media has linked things like conversion therapy and praying away the gay with this term reparative therapy, kind of making it a catch-all phrase for each and every attempt to help people move away from unwanted practices. And for anyone working in this field, it's easy to see how the false self based on a life of shame becomes split off and a homosexual lifestyle or identity develops. And of course, it feels so natural. It's not surprising when people claim that it's who they are, as though they were born that way. Before he died, Nicolosi was working on a new way of articulating his ideas, which he labelled reintegrative therapy rather than reparative therapy. And in the coming years, I think you're likely to hear far more about reintegrative therapies than reparative therapies. Reparative therapy, according to the gay lobby, has been about fixing people, but in reality the term reparative refers to a drive that clients have when they act out homosexually in an attempt to resolve underlying trauma and conflict. Those for whom such feelings are unwanted are not satisfied by such sexual encounters because their underlying need or deficit is emotional and not sexual in nature. Reintegrative therapy is therefore another of the modalities and approaches that we now identify as falling under safety. The term safety or sexual attraction fluidity exploration, when this is used, it's important to remember that we're focusing on the client's work of exploring their own attractions, which science today knows to be fluid. We hope you enjoy the film. Please buy it and help preserve the heritage of this important teacher. And your support will also help us to continue to produce materials that counter the new orthodoxy that denies clients the right to move out of homosexual practices and forces some professional therapists to deny these clients access to professional help.